Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Isn't the point of traveling to get away from it all? To feel the best you've ever felt? Then maybe you should check out Aruba. You'll spend your time relaxing on cool, white, sandy beaches and floating in healing blue water. You'll meet locals brimming with gratitude for an island that redefines what a paradise can be. When your trip comes to an end, you won't need another vacation because you just had the vacation. That's the Aruba effect. Plan your trip at Aruba.com.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Peak Northwest, an outdoors and travel podcast by the Oregonian and Oregon Live, dedicated to the adventure and exploration of our beautiful Pacific Northwest. I'm Jamie Hale.
And I'm Vicki Connor. Together, we take you to some of the most beautiful and interesting destinations in our region, discussing where to go, what to do, and places to see. And today, we are headed to one of the Pacific Northwest's newest and most exciting vacation destinations, and that's Kah-Nee-Ta Hot Springs Resort.
Vicki, I cannot overemphasize how much the people have been hyped for Kah-Nee-Ta. Ever since the Central Oregon Resort announced it would partially reopen after completely shutting things down in 2018, I have been reporting on the incremental updates every turn of the screw about Kah-Nee-Ta, and in the process getting countless emails asking me, when is Kah-Nee-Ta coming back and what's it going to look like when it does? And so now, after the grand opening of Kah-Nee-Ta Hot Springs Resort in July, the people finally have their answers.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, I don't know if we have mentioned this in a past podcast episode just in passing about it, or if we have just talked about it in the past, but yeah, you told me that people were so stoked for this. And as someone who moved here after this shutdown in 2018, like, I don't know any of the lore behind this or like what happened. So for anyone else in a similar boat, Jamie, what happened in 2018 and what's the deal with Kah-Nee-Ta?
Okay, so Kah-Nee-Ta was originally built in the 1960s and 70s, kind of one piece at a time. This is on the Warm Springs Reservation. So this was like really big news for the Warm Springs tribe because they all of a sudden had a new source of income for the tribe that had like a great employment opportunity. It was sort of opened eventually as this big vacation resort. It had a big lodge. It had a golf course. It had like this, swimming pool. They had like hot spring water that was pumped in and used to just, I think, like sort of regulate the temperature of the pools. So it was like known as like a summer destination for like truly decades. Like, so generations of people grew up going to Kah-Nee-Ta. Like every summer you'd go and you go to the pool or do a golf tournament or hang out at the lodge or whatever. It was like one of the places to be. But in 2018, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs announced it was going to shut down Kah-Nee-Ta at the end of that summer because the resort was operating at below a self-sustaining level. And the decision, they said, was necessary to protect the tribe from financial risk. So pretty dire stuff. But, it could not stay closed for long. So in 2022, a few years later, already some plans were in place to do something about it. So there's a great collaboration between Jim Sowers, who's the CEO of Kah-Nee-Ta, and Kirk Hanna, who is the owner of Mount Hood Ski Bowl, just up Mount Hood, not super far from there. And they both were like, how can we make Kah-Nee-Ta happen? How can we bring it back in some capacity? And they had taken this plan to the tribe to reopen it all, have this big idea. And the tribe said, let's not try to open the whole thing again. Let's just find a piece of this that we can bite off. So they said, okay. And they focused on the part of Kah-Nee-Ta that was like the pool area. So they went there, they reimagined that whole area. focusing this all around the hot springs, because Warm Springs, in the name, has all of this great hot spring water that's natural. And so what they did now is they redid the pool area, they built some new pools, and they have hot spring water into the, like, pure hot spring water into the pools, not chlorinated. In addition to some of those like classic chlorinated pools there. And that's kind of the centerpiece of what is happening at KahNeeTa right now.
I mean, that I feel like that makes sense, that for them to open up just the hot springs and the water, the pool, water attractions, because who doesn't love going to going to a hot spring? Have you been since they reopened?
I went on opening day to cover it as like a news story. So I was not staying there. I was not soaking. It was a whirlwind of a day of driving the 2.5 hours out there from Portland, spending 2.5 hours there taking pictures and talking to people and getting video, and then driving the 2.5 hours back. It was a long day.
Yeah.
But I got to see everything there. I just haven't had the experience of like enjoying it or
Right.
staying over the night. So I can speak to what it looked like and how people seem to be enjoying it.
Well, first off, were there a frenzy of people who were just like, I gotta be there on opening day?
I wouldn't say there was a frenzy. It was a Thursday, which is one thing. But there were definitely people there. Folks did see the news and they did drive up, but it was not like packed by any means. But people were out and they were enjoying it. It seemed like it was, a decent little crowd.
Yeah. All right. And how was it?
It was pretty cool, I think. So they have, like I said, a few different pools. So you park, and I walked in and crossed this little bridge over the river that runs through the reservation over to the main area. And there's like, this indoor section that has a restaurant and a spa and like some rentals and stuff like that. But then you walk through those doors and then you have the pool deck. And again, this is the main attraction. So you have a couple of hot spring pools that are large rectangular pools. It's all outside. And one of the pools is a bit hotter than the other. But they adjust the temperature of the water depending on like the temperature of the day. Like when I was there, it was like, I don't know, 100 degrees outside, or it felt like it. And so they had the water dialed back a little bit, so it wasn't like so insane. But people were really out in the hot springs. They were doing that. And then next to that, you have the lazy river, a little circular pool with there's a pool in the middle of it that has like a little volleyball net. So that was the most popular. People were like filling up the lazy river and volleyball net area. It's not like a lazy river where like they have a bunch of inner tubes. So people were mostly floating on like pool noodles. You're not allowed to bring your own pool stuff there, which is, I think, a great addition. I talked to some people who had been there previously who like, this old couple I talked to had really spent like they had been going since the beginning. Like,
wow.
And they like would go like 3 or 4 times a year. They said their kids grew up going to KahNeeTa. And they said like, yeah, it used to be insane. Everyone would bring their floaties, their big inflatable floating things, and just the pool be full of those things. So not being able to do that is nice. And then next to the lazy river is a splash pad. So it only goes up to like 2 feet deep. Has like, those great sort of fountainy features. It kind of ramps down into it. So it's really easy for kids to get down there depending on how big they are. And a really nice sort of opportunity. So those are like the main pools, but an addition they've made now are all of these poolside cabanas of varying, I guess, levels of fanciness or size. So right off the pool deck or on the edge of the pool deck, you have these places, these cabanas that are covered. They have a fan in there. They've got a mini fridge. They have couches. These cost extra money to get. But when it is like so hot and sunny and you have a lot of people and you like a lot of stuff, this is a nice place for people to sort of like spread out and have a secure area where you can sit out of the sun in some cool air and chill. They also have added on just above those, facing the river, these Riverside Cabanas. And these are smaller, but each one comes with a private soaking tub that you can fill with hot spring water.
What?
That's the move. That's the move right there. That's pretty
That's
good.
insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're just looking to soak and have like, a couple of people, like the tubs are like big circular tubs. You could probably fit 4 people in there. Um, that's a good way to do it. Those again cost extra. And there's only so many, but it seems super dreamy and private. And especially
Yeah.
if you're like a couple, or you're a couple of couples and you don't have kids, you're not into the scene of the pool. It's a scene out there. It's kids screaming and running. When I was there were a ton of lifeguards who were not shy about the whistle. They were keeping people in check, which was great.
Can't have something going awry on opening day.
Oh my God, no, no. But if you don't want any part of that, you can get one of these private cabanas and you can just have that to yourself. And that's pretty nice.
Oh my gosh. I feel like if I had kids, I'd be like, tell my partner, like, you go in the crazy area. I'm gonna be in this cabana overlooking the river and just like dissociate. But wow. Okay. Love that there's some variety based on what you're looking for. You mentioned price a few times. How much are we talking about here to visit? And then like, can you tell us what these add-ons actually cost?
Yeah. So if you just want to go for the day, you can get a day pass. That's going to cost $29 per person for weekdays, $39 per person for weekends. That's kind of the main level price here. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to rent any of these cabanas, so the first ones I talked about, the poolside cabanas with the couches, the ceiling fan, etc., those start at $175 per day for weekdays and go up to $225 for weekends. So a little bit pricier, but if that's worth it to you, it's worth it to you.
Is that in addition to the entry cost?
Yes. As far as I know, that's my understanding. As far as I know, this is my understanding is that this is all in addition to the entry cost. Those poolside cabanas that you talked about that your eyes got real wide about, those start at $199 on weekdays and go up to $249 on weekends. A little pricier, but again, you're getting that privacy. You're getting the riverside views, private soaking pool, all of that.
Yeah.
They also have party cabanas for you and 15 of your closest friends, which are a little bit off the pool deck, so a little more private. And they also come with a private soaking tub. That's I think a bit bigger and a bunch of chairs. It's all kind of walled off. It's on its own little area. And those cost up to like $500.
Wow.
So that to me is like real like bachelorette party vibes, you know, 16 people, private tub out there. This is a place, it's family friendly. Certainly there's a lot of kids there. There's also a poolside bar serving alcohol in the afternoon and into the night. So this is also like, can be a party spot. So they're trying to sort of be all things to everyone as far as that's concerned. So you can really see a mix of like, people drinking cocktails in their party cabana and kids running around in the splash pad.
What is the season for this? Like, obviously you're going to most enjoy it in summer, but what are the opening closing dates?
The idea for this, I was talking to Jim Sowers about this, the CEO, and he said like, we wanted this to be a year round thing because previously at KahNeeTa, it was the pools and the golf course. That's a summertime thing. And so in the winter, they were kind of slow. But the idea was to say, well, this is because we have hot springs out there. You can stay there in the wintertime and enjoy the hot water when it's cold out, or come in the summertime and enjoy the cold water when it's hot out. So the idea is you can enjoy this any old time. So I kind of thought, I looked at this, like the summer pool party scene is not quite as much my vibe right at this point in my life. But the winter, fall, hot spring vibe, that speaks to me. Yeah. I'm kind of imagining before it gets too snowy to drive over Mount Hood, like late fall, like, October, November. That could be a really sweet spot to go into KahNeeTa and maybe have it more to yourself than you would in the summer.
Where exactly is KahNeeTa?
So it is in Warm Springs. So if you're driving across Mount Hood on 26, go past government camp, all that stuff, and you keep going like you're going to go off into Central Oregon, and you do, go to the other side of the mountain, And just when you're kind of out of the trees or about to be out of the trees and into the desert, there's a big sign on the side of the road that says KahNeeTa to the left. And you turn left there and drive onto the Warm Springs Reservation. And you kind of follow that road for another, I want to say like 45 minutes or so. It's really well signed. The directions for Google were kind of trying to give me some weird ideas. So I just was following the KahNeeTa signs and got there super easily.
I know where Warm Springs is, but I feel like maybe I've just zoned out when when I've driven by the signs that point to KahNeeTa. So every time I'm in Warm Springs, ever since you like told me about this place that would be reopening soon, I'm like, where is it? I need to see it.
It's off of like when you're driving through Warm Springs itself, right? You go past the little casino there and the museum, the Riverside recreation areas. It's not there, but it's kind of up more, farther north into the reservation. So it's basically upriver more in there. And it's honestly, it's a really cool drive. I had not driven through the reservation before, but it's very sort of open, a bit more sparse, but there's some really cool craggy rocks and some beautiful canyons. So I really quite enjoyed the drive in and of itself. Like I could have just done that and been happy. But it is a bit far for people from Portland, 2.5 hours, but there are overnight lodging options at KahNeeTa, thankfully. So that is a part of this renovation. So they did the pools and the cabanas, yes, but they also renovated the hotel rooms there. And they also brought back, by popular demand, their teepees for rent. So the couple different lodging options for folks. So the lodge rooms themselves, again, this is sort of like your basic hotel room. Those are going to run you, it's a pretty wide range because it's depending on like day of the week, time of year, how nice is the hotel room. Anywhere from like $99 per night to like $399 per night. That's not super helpful, and I recognize that. But you can think about like a couple $100 a night, give or take. You can make it cheaper, you can make it more expensive depending on what you need. The hotel is just right off the pool. It's pretty close. It's just a short walk, and very convenient. The teepees, which are sort of between the hotel and the pool, are basically like a campsite. So you get a concrete slab, and with a teepee on it, basically. Inside the teepee, there is a picnic table, and some of them have like an old, like sort of campfire grate in there, like a fire ring. So you can make fire in some of them. And
Whoa.
as I understand, it's a little like some people are like, yeah, of course you make fire in a teepee. The smoke goes up the hole in the middle and it's fine. And some people are like, I don't know about that. So, but this is a place you can bring your bedding, whatever you need, bring an air mattress in there, whatever you need to be comfortable. But you're basically, the teepee is your structure. It does have a little opening in the middle. If you never slept in a teepee, that is part of it. But they're all very cool. They're all designed to be very beautiful and very interesting. So, I mean, people like doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's one piece I was like, I could definitely stay out there. But the teepees you can rent they range from like $119 a night to $179 a night. I should also mention they've got RV sites. If you're an RV person, you can camp for cheaper, even $49 to $69 a night. So a lot of ways to stay there. Should mention they also have food at KahNeeTa now. That's another piece of the renovation they did. They redid the kitchen. So there's a full kitchen now at this area. They have, it looked like a pretty decent menu. I didn't eat there because again, I was so busy. But they have burgers, pizza, sandwiches, salads, snacks. The prices range from like $7 for nachos to, I think the most expensive item was an $18 barbecue chicken pizza. So, you can use that. I know you can get a fry bread burger.
I was about to ask if they had fry bread.
There's fry bread. Oh yeah. Our colleague Lizzie Acker, who went the day after I did, coincidentally, just on the way back from Central Oregon, said she did get a fry bread burger, and it was a bit too much. She said her daughter looked at her and was like, "Why do you have donuts on your burger?" But Lizzie said she was there with her daughter and her family, and she said it was really great time. She quite enjoyed it. Really enjoyed all the lifeguards, the splash pad, the food. said it was a really good time. So it's nice to hear that people are out there, they are enjoying it. And I get the sense that, when I was talking to an old couple who had been to KahNeeTA before, they said it's not like it used to be. This is, and obviously it's just a piece of the bigger resort that's reopened, right? So it's not going to be that same huge experience you had before, but they were like, we really like it. It's really cool. It seems like they've done a good job with it, and they were really excited to see what comes next. And Lizzie said the same thing. She really enjoyed it there. So I think this is destined to be a go-to vacation destination for a lot of Oregonians.
For sure. So the other part of the resort that was not reopened, like, is it just the land that was the golf course? What are some of did you see those parts when you were there?
I didn't take a look at it. I did ask Jim Sowers about it, and he said, the golf course, you wouldn't even recognize it as a golf course at this point. It's all grown out. And the big lodge building has just been sitting there vacant. I asked, like, are you planning on doing anything with that? And they said, basically, maybe we'll see. Yeah. That's a big project. To get this piece of KahNeeTA open was a $13 million project. The tribe kicked in a lot of that money. Some money came in from the federal government. Kirk Hanna from Ski Bowl contributed a bunch of his personal money to this. So it was a big undertaking to get this done. To do the big lodge, the golf course, that's a lot. And it sounds like they would need to prove to the tribe that by investing that money, it would be a profitable operation. A few years after that was not a profitable operation. So, I can imagine that being a little bit of a hard sell. But from a lot of the folks I talked to up there is a desire to see it happen more than anything. So will that desire turn into an actual feasible renovation of the rest of KahNeeTA? Time will tell. It certainly will be years down the line if it happens at all.
For sure. Well, Jamie, are you planning a vacation there anytime soon?
Like I said, I'm like very curious about it in the fall. That's something I'm going to keep my eye on it and see, what are those hotel room prices like. But like I could see, maybe it's a little bit expensive of a vacation, but doing like, a hotel room out there and like that private cabana on the Riverside, soaking in there when it's kind of like chilly and rainy, that sounds pretty nice, honestly. So we'll see, but that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. I also where is the closest lazy river? Like the lazy river specifically brings me back to childhood vacations. So yeah, that is what I'm about. In addition to, the private cabana overlooking the river and the hot spring water. But if I can do a little bit of dealing with whistles blowing and kids running around. If I can just sit in a lazy river, go back to my inner child.
Oh yeah. You get your sunglasses, your cocktail, lazy river, put your earbuds in and put your phone on the pool chair, and you just chill and float for a while. That sounds great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Lots of sunscreen. It's exposed out there and it is hot. So
if you're going anytime soon, bring a lot of sunscreen.
Yeah, for sure. All right, folks. Well, that will do it for us for today. Until next time, you can watch our videos on the Oregonians YouTube channel and view all of our travel and outdoors coverage on OregonLive.com/travel, as well as HereIsOregon.com.
Please leave us a rating or review if you enjoyed the show. And if you want to support this podcast, as well as our local journalism, please consider a subscription to Oregon Live. You can find details at OregonLive.com/podsupport. Also, if you're a fan of the show and you're interested in potentially sponsoring it, you can get in touch with our marketing people at advertise@oregonian.com. This episode of the show is produced by me, Vicki Connor, alongside Jamie Hale.
Stay safe and happy travels, everyone. Until next time, we leave you with this 10 seconds of Zen.